If you've been part of the online horror gaming community for a while, there's a good chance you've heard of a game called No Players Online. Released in 2019, it was a smash hit indie darling about playing an online game where, you guessed it, no players are online. However, that didn't mean you were alone in the game. There was a creature hunting you down. There was also a bit of a twist ending, but I'm not going to say it on the off chance that you haven't seen this game, so that way you'll be surprised. Yes, I was talking about this game more generally because this video is not about that game. It is about the new 2024 demo for the full game that'll be coming out soon. As always, I'll be your host, Low Poly Levi, as we talk about what may just be the scariest game on my channel yet. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. We start by booting into an old computer, and there's 3 available profiles that we can sign into, but 2 of them are, of course, password protected, so I just went with guest. I booted up my browser and went to a game-making forum, and there were some interesting characters there. There's the admin working on a space game, there's a girl who likes to draw cats, there's Terrence who's into music, SuperDev is a piece of Gabe is a chill guy, and Winston is a scam bot. However, the most important person on this introductory post is John Mullard. One of the profiles on the computer we're on, and he's into some pretty weird stuff. After a set amount of time, we get messaged by another user who wants to play a game with us, so we of course download the random zip folder from this stranger and launch the executable in it. We are very smart computer owners, aren't we? It's a simple capture the flag game, but no one's online, and the guy who said he'd join isn't joining. As we walk through these desolate halls, we'll eventually come across this gramophone playing an eerie tune, so of course, we shoot the crap out of it. On my way to get the 3rd flag, I was suddenly stopped in my tracks as this thing started approaching me. My gun wouldn't shoot, and just as I thought I was dead, it disappeared. So I continued back to my base, but when I got there, no matter how much I ran, I just couldn't reach the flag, until... The game crashes, but when we try to submit a crash report, everything starts going crazy, and the word sentimental keeps getting repeated, before the entire PC blue screens. When we boot back up, the guest profile is no longer an option, so I guess we should try John Mullard's. And in case it wasn't glaringly obvious, the password is sentimental. Now on John's page, there's a lot of lore stuff here, which I'll sum up for you. These notepads tell us how John has been experimenting with a new software that lets him extract the souls from different games and import them into others. He also mentions one of the games turning into a stone, whatever that means. Also, the clock reveals that the year is 1994, and there's these photos of John and his wife, who we later find out to be named Sarah. Going back to the gaming forums, I read a post announcing that a fire had recently destroyed the servers of the website, and some posts were getting deleted, which explains these glitchy posts that you can't interact with. Anyway, we download a couple other creators' games. There's Fishing with Knives 2 by that jerky SuperDev guy. It's nothing remarkable, it's just one of those games where you start weak and eventually keep moving on to bigger fish, quite literally. Then there's a cracked version of a dating sim called 20 Summer Days, in which a loser randomly gets picked out by a girl for some reason. Man, I wish something like this would happen to me. Someday, I'm sure of it. We then meet her at the cafe by coincidence, and she writes her number on the napkin. When we call her, she reveals that she knows we're playing a pirated version of the game, and we're sent to prison. Well, that goes to show you. When you pirate games, you don't get the huzz. But that's not going to stop me, of course. I've been sailing the 7 seasons before you were even out of diapers, kid. Also, we can launch the Capture the Flag beta, but nothing happens no matter how much you play it. But they did add jumping, so the game is literally 10 times better. There's also Minesweeper, which is already installed, and it most certainly is Minesweeper, and I cannot beat it for the life of me, mainly because I don't know how Minesweeper works. There's some other miscellaneous stuff that you can do on the computer, but I'm going to leave that for you to do. Of course, as always, the games page will be left in the description, and I hope you play it. The real fun starts when we start combining the games. First, I combined Minesweeper and Fishing with Knives, and it became a game in which I had to swim to the bottom and avoid the mines, lest I get pushed around. When you do reach the bottom, you can hear a dog barking for some reason, and oh my goodness, what is that? Eventually, the game closed by itself, so I unmerged the games and combined the dating sim with Minesweeper. Now I was on a date with the smiley face from the Minesweeper game. Clicking on certain squares, we can ask her questions, and most of the time she'll give vague answers and just say she's a computer program, but sometimes she'll glitch out and give more human-like answers, with a couple involving things to do with painting, which you should definitely keep in mind for later, just saying. Eventually, I combined the dating sim with fishing with knives, and I was quite bewildered at what it produced, to say the least. Here, just watch. Well, that certainly was disturbing. The program has now turned into a stone, just like how the document said earlier. Switching to the infused tab, it fits perfectly into one of the slots. Putting the capture the flag beta into the middle, and we infuse it with the energy of the stone, and now we have a new game. In the map, there's now way more water, and in the water there's a lot of fish from fishing with knives. We also sometimes get stopped by text boxes and have to look at something just like in the visual novel. Going to where the music originally was way back in the alpha, there's a pool, and when interacting with it, the text box comes up and speaks to us, saying it would have liked some music. Interestingly, the text boxes say there's now 3 of us, or 4 counting the player. It seems as though they're referencing the soul from 20 Days, the soul from fishing, and the soul from this game. We later find the blue flag out of place. There's also a hole in the wall next to it, and entering it, we start falling through the map. I was falling for so long I thought this was an actual bug and not intended, until I hit the water at the bottom, that is. Swimming through, I eventually saw the creature from fishing with knives combined with Minesweeper, and he was even more horrifying in 3D. I kept swimming till the only thing I could see, which was a blue box off in the distance. When I got close enough, I realized it was a small room, and entering in, a wall appears from where I came through. There's no water. There's a sound of a ticking clock and a door. We enter through, and a new map begins to load. However, it glitches out halfway through. I'm not gonna lie, I wandered aimlessly not knowing what to do for about 30 minutes before deciding to look up a guide. I found out I was supposed to align with these 2 squares and look through, and when I did, Now, the story makes a lot more sense when you play the original game. In the OG, John literally joins the game and tells you that the ghost in the game is that of his wife, and he's trying to revive her. But the key difference in this game is that we actually get to see how Sarah died, as we get to see her walk the dog before something terrible happens. I don't know quite what. Maybe a robber, or what seems more likely to me, she couldn't see and she fell into a body of water and drowned. We also get to see that John and Sarah didn't have the best relationship, as they were always separated. Maybe this makes John feel extra guilty and fuels his drive to revive her in some way. I also think the idea of the souls of the games are more literal, like a piece of the developer's soul is in the game when they make it, and maybe we're trying to combine different elements from different souls to kind of recreate Sarah's soul, kind of like Full Metal Alchemist in a way. I think in the final game, we're going to keep working on recreating Sarah's soul, collecting each of these stones, but she's going to end up as a flawed creation, and we're going to have to go against John's wishes and send her to rest. Anyway, I really enjoyed this game. It's scary, it's fun, it has an interesting story setup, and the virtual desktop is really cool. I'm really looking forward to the final release. I'm buying that instantly. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more. Comment below what you thought about the game, and tell me your favorite drink or something, I don't know. And with all that being said, I've been Lopa Levi, you've been a great viewer, and I'm off. See ya.